Good evening, all. Uh, Thank you for joining Just at Disrupt 4.0 webinar on industries of the future. Is everybody able to listen to me? Just checking for the last time. Great. I'll start now. So I believe some of you are here now. More will be adding up soon. May I know whoever is joined, how many of you are technologists or non-developers or from any other domain? Can somebody show their hands? Okay. Uh, so we'll start the webinar now. I've gone through a lot of online resources as well as webinars, seminars, conferences, and I've come to a conclusion that there are probably about 7 industries where the future lies. We all started with coding as our main area of expertise, and we learned some areas, and then we thought that our life is set and we will be able to sustain our job for long. But unfortunately, that is changing now. And the screen that you see now are having the 7 most talked about or most worked upon industries now. So first one being artificial intelligence. We are already hearing about autonomous vehicles, chatbots, etc. Blockchain, which gives us authentication across documentation or records anywhere online. Cybersecurity, which is relevant to every industry, whether it's IT, non-IT, any other industry for that matter. Fintech is financial technologies like companies like Paytm, uh, MobiKwik, or PayPal, and others. These are all fintech companies that they are taking over the world. Digital currencies, cryptocurrencies are coming into play. Genomics is where people are now trying to become gods. So they are trying to play with genes inside the bodies to create custom babies for that matter. Uh, Sixth is quantum computing, wherein new discoveries on medicines and materials are happening, and robotics. So we'll be going through each one of them in detail, and we will also be seeing how one or the other industry is playing a part in any of the other industries. And at the last, we'll be talking about the most prevalent industry then. I'll be taking questions at the end. Now, AI, if you see online, you will online, offline, you will find lots and lots of definitions. But the most simplistic one that I could find was if machines start showing intelligence, that's when they will be called artificial intelligence. So we are already seeing videos or hearing about self-driving cars, strategic game systems like Go and chess, understanding human speech, etc. So now where all AI is being used. So we did a small survey with about 100 odd companies and their internal executives across India and some other parts of the world. And we found that AI is going into every possible domain. There is no domain that is being left inside the company, inside a business, which is left untouched now. There is a very good example. Recently, one of the clients of GE, they automated their processes on accounting and finance. Now, people have been asking me, CAs have been asking me, my own CA asked me, well, you are dealing in AI. Do you think accounting will also be affected by AI? So this is a perfect example. So that client of GE automated their stuff, and in India there were 550 people working in accounting and finance process of that company, one of the projects of that company. Only the top 50 performing ones were retained, and rest 500 were given wing slips. So That's how far automation on accounting has already gone. We'll be seeing some examples on how AI is playing their role in HR. Marketing, we are seeing a lot of sales and marketing, CRMs, everything is getting automated over AI. Manufacturing and supply chains are being automated over AI. Uber and many other companies are coming up with autonomous fleets for supply chain management. Operations are getting automated on AI. IT, even DevOps is getting automated on AI. So, what are the some of examples and used in AI and HR? These are some of them, not all of them, but some of them. So, tracking employee engagement, employee development, employee skill matching, employee healthcare. So, this is a favorite one because we had a startup called healthyply.in, which was like any other normal healthcare marketplace. But we generated some data. We created a small POC on disease prediction, uh, over 22 possible diseases that happen mostly in India, and it was fairly accurate and was getting vetted and getting validation from the doctor, from our panel of doctors, obviously. And so we created a small joke around it, where suppose there's a large IT services company, and head of SAP is content at the end of every quarter saying that I am able to meet my target, so I'm good. No, my job is not getting affected. But someday HR will move into his cabin and say that you are fired. You will ask why. Because my uh, targets are getting achieved. Why am I being fired? So HR will say that Healthyply tool says you are not taking enough stress to overachieve the targets. You are just content with what company has given you. So that's how AI is creeping into healthcare sector already. Skill verification, job fit. So in young age, we all have seen or probably experienced that to get a job, we list a lot of skills on our profile. But are we actually made for healthcare, made for HR or marketing or IT for that matter, or our inclination or our skill set is showing something else? So AI will be taking care of that job fit if your job if what you're saying is right for the job fitment there. I'm sorry. So another is background checks, talent discovery, employee referral network. Another one. Now we always tend to refer our friends and family to our companies where we work when we are enjoying working there. We never want to refer any of our friends and family to a company where or the bosses where we don't like their attitude. So now AI is creeping into your all social networks, all possible networks that you are connected to when you are on board the company. It will be telling HR so and so person in so and so's network is the right fit for the company's so and so job. So HR will be coming to you and saying that refer that person. You won't have any choice there for that. Employee worthiness check. Recruiter chatbots are already here. Digital interviews have been happening for long. So global AI market size is expected to grow to about $191 billion by 2025, from just 21.4, which is slated, which is expected in 2018 alone. Now, there's a live example of a company called Nearby.in. If some of you might have used, it's a deal site, and they were the first company in India giving front page news in a national daily like Times of India, saying that we have deployed AI in HR, we have deployed AI in finance, we have been using AI in our e-commerce sales uh, right from 2015, and their revenues uh, tripled in about 4 months of deployment of AI in e-commerce sales. You apply in nearby.in, you are welcomed by recruiter chatbots. HR human resource only comes into play when negotiation has to happen. Otherwise, you are continuously dealing with AI in the background. So that's a very good live example there. Coming to blockchain. So blockchain is a continuously growing record. You must be hearing lots about Bitcoins and Ripple and some other cryptocurrencies. That's all part of blockchain. So cryptography has been used there as a technology where lots of records are connected to each other, and each record has a record of all previous transactions happening until then. So it cannot be forged or hacked so easily. So combo of products involving both AI and blockchain are already coming into existence. There's a company called Talla, Talla, and Rob May is the CEO and founder there. He has created a tool called Botchain, 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 in which he's saying that uh, although you can deploy AI products or bots across your department, but what about the authenticity or regulation compliance on those bots? That will not be known. So he has combined blockchain technology with bots there to create botchain tool, and which is helping companies who are deploying that tool for intelligent agent auditing, compliance regulations, and communication standards standardization there. So how does blockchain work? So when a transaction is initiated, for example, Bitcoin for that matter, so it is submitted to a P2P network there, which has a lot of computers there. By the way, I'm not uh, expert on any of the technology that I'm talking about, but just a graphical representation of what is actually happening. So P2P network validates based on some algorithms all the possible uh, information required, validates it, and then transfer it to a system which, with the help of cryptography, creates a block with all the information of previous transactions and the current transaction. And then that blocks get added to the global blockchain of that ledger. So after, as soon as it gets part of that blockchain, it becomes a validated transaction. It is complete, and that uh, piece of information or that block cannot be hacked, because then all the information previously existing on that blockchain will have to be mutated or hacked, which is practically impossible. Now, what are possible use cases of blockchain? Again, so digital identity management, as in passports, birth certificates, residency, we have seen in my circle, only in my college days, I've seen where people used to forge passport data. They used to defaulter at some country, some rich class kids used to defaulter in some country, tear that passport and then create a new one. But now this won't be possible because everybody would be connected on blockchain. Employment records creation, certificate storage and management. There's a good initiative by Indian government recently wherein they are saying that some of you must have seen the video wherein they are saying that you can connect all your certificates right from birth to death, as well as your educational certificates and everything online. And if an employer asks that what has been your working history, you will be able to just pick out some block identity and give it to them, and they will be able to see all your curriculum, all your educational or experience related information. With health record management, you don't need to keep anything on paper. Digital records have been coming for some time, but now blockchain will enable that. You will not need any information to be remembered. It will be just on part of a blockchain. You just need to know the identity of that block to be given to any doctor, or so privacy is taken care of and records keeping is taken care of. Distributed cloud storage. Until now, we have been using like hardware, and then moreover now cloud, going to cloud, Dropbox, cloud, Google Drive, and others. But then again, you become dependent on that single storage option. Now, blockchain will allow you to connect, uh, store your information in bits and pieces across the blockchain, across the world. You can, and since every block of it will have information about each and everything that is connected to your storage everywhere in the world, you will be able to take it out easily from anywhere in the world. So you won't be connected to a single uh, cloud storage option. Charities and non-profits, that's a very good example there. So there was in a few years back, there was some incident in Hawaii where uh, I think earthquake happened, and I had donated some money to through Red Cross to that incident. Trillions of dollars were collected from across the world, but nobody knew where is that money going or how is it being used. Now that won't be possible because you will be able to track from where, when and where you uh, gave that money and how and when and where it got used. So that's a very good example there. International financial transactions, smart contract management, digital voting. Digital voting, Venezuela is the first country to have digital voting, anonymous voting. So people who were not voting earlier were able to vote with the help of blockchain digital voting. Visibility across supply chain. There is a cryptocurrency called VIAVI, VIAVI, I believe, in China, which is being used by a lot of high-end brands, which is helping them management of fake products. So, for example, Louis Vuitton bags are counterfeited a lot in China and any other parts of the world because they are very costly. But now, company would be able to trace, even consumer buying that those bags would be able to trace with the help of a mobile application and a blockchain technology behind that with that currency there. If that bag that what they are buying is actually the original one or the fake one. Music rights and royalties management, smart appliances ownership and which enables transferability. So global blockchain market is going to be about $7.6 billion by 2022 from just 411 million in 2017. So this was blockchain. And now how to take up a career in blockchain. I've given small examples here. So being infrastructure technology, it underlies software such as web and mobile applications. So if you know those areas, you'll be able to get into blockchain. But since it is developed, most of these tools are based on C++, so fundamental knowledge of that is required. For web developers, Mamlab blog post, although very lengthy, but very in depth, it gives you good understanding on dynamics of technology. C hash programmers can get this in-depth book, which is a free one, but gives you very good knowledge on blockchain programming. Decentralized app for beginners on Ethereum blockchain can be read on this blog, appforbeginners.wordpress.com. And IBM came up with the first blockchain 101 of its kind, but it is obviously inclined towards the Bluemix platform. It gives you very good knowledge and gets you started in blockchain phase. Cybersecurity. So as I said, cybersecurity is relevant to all possible industries of the world. So there are cybersecurity is a theft or damage, uh, uh, takes care of theft or damage to hardware, software information, uh, as well as from disruption or misdirection of services they provide. So there are three kinds of cyber attacks. Although there are 10 or 12 different kinds of cyber security hacks, but I have just broadly divided them into three types, which is confidentiality, availability, and integrity. Confidentiality is when people want to trying to steal your credit card or debit card information. So Target stores got their systems got hacked in 2013 and 40 million credit card details were stolen. So that was confidentiality attack. Second is availability, wherein DDoS attacks you must have heard of, denial of service or distributed denial of service. So there, hackers attack your systems and flooding them with a lot of requests so that you are not able to uh, make the system work correctly. It gets over flooded and gets down. DDoS attacks are similar, but then multiple systems are being used for the same, and it becomes difficult to, or rather impossible to distinguish if it is attacker's traffic or legitimate traffic. Integrity attacks are more physical in nature, which takes down the whole system of the companies. So, good example is Associated Press Twitter account was hacked some years back when it said that one of the tweets said that White House has been bombed. So immediately New York Stock Exchange lost 150 points and devalued market by $136 billion. So that's a integrity attack. Now, AI is already being used here for cybersecurity now, and it is a good part of it. A lot of cybersecurity people are going into AI technology to pre-detect, detect, and re-establish the issues created by those attacks. And another good example is cybersecurity market, as you're seeing, is to grow to almost $232 billion by 2022. Another good example is a lot of people say that largest market cap company in the world is probably Apple or Google or anything like that. But actually, it is at least in 2016 or 17, it was Saudi Aramco, which is world's 90% oil producer of the in the globally. So when Iran was trying to get into oil, like get better in their oil space, so they had launched a attack on Saudi Aramco, which took down systems of that Saudi Aramco by almost 60%. So 60% was a big number. That company went down by 3 days, but supposedly 40% of their computers were handling a lot of their work. It got massively hacked, but their systems were replaced and revived again after 3 days. And post that, they have been taking extra precautions. They are involving AI a lot for detection and rectification of such attacks. Now, coming to next one, which is part two, cybersecurity. So it is said by some it is said by some experts in this area that there is so much of demand in cybersecurity that people even from history or Hindi or maybe English background, as in subject background, can go into cybersecurity. So what could be the steps? Possible steps could be you have to have good expertise in some other area if you are not already in cybersecurity. Uh, so So you should be having, you should become master of fundamentals of data networks, expert at administrating multiple OSs or multiple scripting languages. So, and then spend time studying on network security. That will give you a good head start in cybersecurity. In business circle, it said that sometimes it's who you know, it's what works. So networking is definitely a required thing. Uh, Not in tech yet, so start studying basics of IT. Legitimize your skills by getting certifications. So security plus certification or certified information system security professional certification is a good one to have. It gives confidence to the hiring company that yes, you will be able to handle the job and you have basics settled there. Self-directed learning with online courses and self-based labs setting up inside your home is what is critical. Sometimes hiring companies ask, "What have you done besides your certification? What have you learned or have uh, seen mishaps on in your home labs? What is your favorite tool and things like that, which will come from self-directed learning." Data skills are required. So that is probably required in all the domains now. So competency of noticing trends in large amounts of data is will give you a very good head start. And getting some real experience with maybe internships or by collecting and analyzing large amounts of information will give you a good understanding there. Next is genomics. So genomics is a interdisciplinary field of science, focusing on structures, function evolution mapping, and editing of genomes. So that's how people are, at least scientists are trying to become gods. So they are already saying that custom baby generation may become a possibility for the rich class in the future. Uh, so it is already helping in cancer or brain ailment surgeries or rectifications. US scientists are studying uh, trying to understand genetics behind suicide cases because that's a lot of prevalence in US, trying to prevent them. And some popular genomic companies, Genome Patri is a Indian, I think Hyderabad-based company that is getting popularity across the world. Base Health and 23andMe are US-based companies. Interestingly, Base Health is owned by Google founder's wife, Sergey Brin, if I'm correct. So that shows that Google-like companies are not leaving any domain for that matter, which is not touched by them. They are either invested or doing some work there. So genomics market in 2017 was 14 billion. It is expected to reach about 24 billion in 2023. Part two career in genomics, studies in technology and related specialized fields. So definitely sciences background is required there. So quantum computing. So quantum computing is quantum mechanical phenomena such as superposition and entanglement. So common digital computing today uses bits and bytes, which is zeros and ones coded, and it can be in either 0 or 1 state, whereas quantum computing, which is using quantum bits or called qubits, which can hold a state of 0, 1 or 0, 1 simultaneously. So it will be helping, or it is already helping large companies in discovery of new medicines and materials, ultra efficient logistics and supply chains, optimizing fleet operations for deliveries during holiday seasons, financial data modeling for better investments, making machine learning more powerful. So some companies using quantum computing are Google, IBM, Microsoft of the world, obviously large ones because it takes a lot of money to get into this. Again, machine learning is coming to here, so AI is involved here as well. But to get started with quantum computing, IBM Q Experience is the first one again. They are giving free access to their processors, quantum processors with IBM Cloud to run algorithms and experiments. And then they will be making you addicted to their system and you'll be working for or on their systems. So what is robotics? Sometimes people say robotics is part of AI. Sometimes they say AI is part of robotics, which are both incorrect statements. So robotics is not equal to AI or vice versa. Robotics works on uh, sensors and actuators are programmable. Robots are programmable and they may be autonomous or semi-autonomous. Uh, so what are artificially intelligent robots? Nowadays, more and more people are asking for more of artificially intelligent robots. So most robots till date have not been artificially intelligent. Non-intelligent robots are quite limited, mostly industrial robots. Besides engineering like electronics or mechanical, robotics is now involving AI also. So some robotics companies, Gray Orange is a most funded and profitable probably robotics company in India, based out of Gurgaon, uh, and they are supplying robots across the world. So they supplied first robot to in India to I think DTDC, the courier company, and so example being DTDC was earlier sorting packages at the rate of 10 or 15 packages per person per operator per minute. When Gray Orange deployed their robot, it is doing 3,600 packages per minute. So now that manpower was either displaced or was put in to other areas of function. Second, QTPy is a very favorite example of mine, very because I was a small kid. So QTPy is actually a Lego-based company, but it's making robots now for supply chain as well as receptionists. So they are already testing it with some companies in Bangalore, where they say that we are saying receptionists will easily, at the minimum, will cost you about 1.8 to 3 lakhs per annum, plus incentives, plus lot of employee benefits and stuff. Whereas if you deploy QTPy robot on your reception with just a guard, it is vision enabled, so it will be able to recognize people's faces when they come into the office. It will be able to interact with office systems and tell whether a person is in or not for the person visiting, and give proper messaging and things like that. Also, it will take the courier parcels or anything that is being delivered to the person inside the company with high accuracy. So that just costs 50,000 rupees for a few years. So you get saved on the salaries of the receptionist. Then other global companies are Instinctive Surgical, iRobot, Yaskawa Electric Corporation, KUKA IT, Adapt Technology. So these are some of the robotic companies. Global robotics market is likely to cross $130 billion by 2025. So here we have seen AI being an industry in itself. Uh, Out of six others, AI is probably playing a part in four of them. So it can be easily said that AI is the most prolific industry to be in. If you can be in part, you can be part of other industries, but then you will be specializing in one industry alone. Whereas if you get intelligent as well as artificially intelligent is adapted by you as an industry, then you can become part of probably five of seven industries directly or indirectly. So it would pay in long run to be part of the AI industry. So let's do a poll here. Let's see if it works. I'll take the questions at the end. Are you able to see the poll? Can you please fill in the poll here, whoever is participating? Some more responses to come. I think two, three people are left. Can you please vote? Okay, thank you. So about five people are developers here. About another five people are non-developers here. About one or two are testers here, and about five people, about three or four people are from other domains. So great, thank you. Uh, okay, now so even if others or even if non-developers, you don't have to worry. There are many fields in AI which can be dealt by non-developers or other people as well. Obviously, software developers get a advantage that they will be able to develop or go into those fields of machine learning or deep learning and develop algorithms and things like that. But non-developers or other people as well can take up data science as a domain. It will be difficult, but won't be impossible if you give a dedicated effort. Probably in about an year's time, you should be doing decent enough and be able to get into such a job. Your experience, obviously, a lot of things come in and you'll be able to perform decently well. So let's go to next slide. So I've created in Self-Study, we have created two tracks which one can follow uh, on how to go about learning AI or machine learning for that matter. So on the left, you will see learning resources. Uh, Many in my circle are weak on maths, so we always say that mathsfun.com is a good resource to go to. Otherwise, if you have decent level maths from 9 to 12 standards in school, you should be able to do good level of algorithms and data science. You'll be able to understand that. We have vast resources in on Self-Strat blog. Uh, you'll be able to go through them and be able to understand well. We have tried to make them as simple as possible. You can go through Coursera site to do some courses there. A lot of ML courses are there. Self-study courses can be there. Coursera. Industrues course is the most famous one, being called the father of AI. Uh, uh, Simply learn courses, triple IT, etc. Some of them are pretty costly, but then they give you good grounding there. So there are many good books from O'Reilly and Packard and Iron Goodfellow book we closely follow all the time. They give you a good grounding on uh, deep learning stuff. And hands-on machine learning with scikit-learn and TensorFlow are there. So there is no particular flow here. If you know some things, you can go jump onto other things, but this is what will be required to get into ML space. Dedicated effort of 3 to 6 months, we can give you decent knowledge on how to go about machine learning. Now, how to get trainings? Like a lot of people ask us how to go about projects and things like that. So I'll be taking questions at the end. So I'm seeing some questions there. I'll be taking up at the end there. So how to go about them? So there are a lot of platforms like Kaggle or GitHub and things like that. So if you go to those platforms, take up some part of it, try to improve it and improve the result coming out of the current code, then you can publish it as your own code and say that yes, and you can list that experience on your profile. That will be counted. Or take up data sets freely available in the market and try to uh, play with it on your algorithms or machine learning. That will give you a good hands on that. Otherwise, even I volunteered some time for a Bangalore-based company. So a lot of startups are there in a lot of incubators and accelerators. So you can approach them and try to get internship. They will not pay you anything, but they may be able to give you good grounding. Obviously, you will have to be a self-learner because they won't teach you anything, but you'll be able to see if you will be able to fit into this industry. A lot of learning happens there, I would say. Next is deep learning. This is slightly more tough. I would say very tough. So deep learning is very, very tough. Even we find it difficult many times, even after reading again and again and again. So a lot of stuff there. A lot of courses being deployed by kinds of Simply Learn, Triple IT, Coursera, Edureka, and others. Uh, I suggest go to them who are more instructor-led. Although you can do video-based courses, they also give good knowledge. Some of them we are working with, but try to have some course where instructor is there for solving your queries. We have had instances where people have gone through such online platforms, but have come to us saying that there was no instructor to ask, and that's where we could not turn on. We had to drop out. We are losing interest. What should we do? So this is my personal advice. Go to some platform where instructor led support is there. So uh, so this is what is the current state. As per 2016, this is what on the left hand side, this is what education institutes say that their students are capable of having analytics or data science skills. Whereas in 2021, by 2021, employer will say that we have so many jobs there, but no people available. So you are still not late. So if you can develop your skills in data science or machine learning, you have a good chance that you'll be getting good salaries there. This is a highest paid domain as of today in the industry. You go to any IT company and say that you're a PHP or Java developer, may or may not you get the job. But if you say you are a machine learning or data science guy, high chances that you'll get placed. Whether non-tech or tech, even tech companies in AI space will need people to sell, people to do operations on, in operations department, finance, or any other department. There's a good chance that you'll get placed if you have knowledge of these areas. So this is about it. Now let's take up some questions if there are. Okay. Yeah, somebody asked, was it gray orange? Yes, that was gray orange. Uh, any other questions? We have a lot of time left for 1 hour, but not necessarily we have to be there. So for next 5 minutes, floor is open for questions if you have any. I'll be most happy to reply. Any questions, anybody? So this webinar is being recorded and it will be available for viewing on our YouTube channel. You can go to Self-Start YouTube channel and you'll be able to see all of the webinar there again. Somebody saying WHO supplied the robots to be okay. So for sorting things, WHO? I'm not sure. I think it was gray orange. Maybe you're right. I have a Java background. Which course should I need to start with, and what are the courses available? Please let me know. Okay. So if you have any programming background, C++, Java, PHP, or anything, it's very easy to pick up. I would say it is comparatively easier to pick up Python instead of TensorFlow. It is slightly that one is slightly difficult. Python jobs are also there quite a lot because it's easy to hire and develop and maintain. So take up some course which gives you basics of Python, and then you practice on that. On the side, you can try your hands on data science. I suggest you go through all our blogs on Self-Start side. You will be able to get a good grasp on what is what, as well as all our webinars. If you have been attending, great. Otherwise, you can go through selfstart.com site and you'll be able to see all the webinars there, as well as on YouTube channel. So you'll be able to understand basics of data science. You can play around with data there, and you'll be able to see that you are able to grasp things there. What courses to take? There are many on Coursera, Edureka, Simplilearn. So try to go to some. If you are very like, if you are a non-techie or if you have a non-developer background, if you don't have interest in maths or have not studied maths, I suggest go to some very basic level courses on maybe light machine learning or something else, where you'll be able to understand. They will give you good grounding on maths also, on whatever is required, not complete maths, but only 5 or 6 topics that are required in AI space. Do you all take development for application? Sorry, I didn't get that question. Do you all take development for application? Sorry, Ravi, I could not understand that question. Can you please repeat? Thanks for the webinar. It was informative. Thank you. What is the path for BA in AI? Business analysis. So I see. I call myself evangelist. I've been into inside sales. I'm a non-developer, but I have read so much. I go through at least 5 blogs a day. I go through at least 20, 30 tweets a day. I read a lot. So if you read all of that a lot on everyday basis for at least a month, you get to understand how business in some areas are functioning. So BA in AI, it's slightly, uh, although you can do a business BA course, but that will not give you AI grounding. I suggest you go through blogs and webinars. A lot of such free resources are available there already. You will be able to pick up things easily there. Can you give some information on ML and AI in industrial application? Working on high speed data being generated by machines. Uh, can you give some information? if you are working, if it's working for you. Okay, now it is. So lot of manufacturing companies are taking up a lot of big data has been generated for last 3 years, and a lot of tools are being deployed by companies for industrial applications. So yes, so ML and AI are being used there because turning data and doing all kinds of production forecasting and based on the data being generated there, it is creating a havoc. So ML and AI are being seen there. Example, there is a company called I'll get to it. I'm forgetting the name. There is a company based out of HSR Bangalore. Uh, so they created a production forecasting based on data in manufacturing companies. So they unintentionally use machine learning and created some tool which is forecasting production as well as planning for production for companies. So companies are already displacing people of their jobs with the help of that tool. So that's a nasty example, but yes, it is happening there. Even data science involves coding, building models, etc. So it requires for BS team to learn coding. Some coding, yes, definitely helps. So uh, what most courses will not tell you is it's good to have an engineering background, but it's good to have, but not a must-have. So if you learn some basic coding, as I said, if you have some basic coding skills from PHP or any others, you will be able to easily pick up Python. So some coding skills, if you have it, it makes your job easier. I'm from mechanical background. What should be better for me to proceed with? Good question. So mechanical background, robotics already is there. But mechanical engineering also, I have seen people studying C++ or some basic level languages, PHP and others. So if you pick up, if you have mechanical engineering background, you will be able to understand maths definitely. So you will be able to pick up data science, and that's a good career in itself. And to become a data scientist. And then if you have some basic grounding on programming, you will be able to pick up Python as well. So start with data science first, being math background, and try to pick up coding on the side. On the earlier question, I said take up Python programming and take data science on the side. But here I am saying to take data science first and take Python programming on the side. That will be easier for you. So recently, Google has released their open crash course. Will that be for getting ML? Well, I have not gone through that, but people are saying internationally, people are saying it is good. I'm not sure about it. If there is any requirement for building a model for a specific application, would you all take up that development of that? Still don't get it. Is there any requirement for building a model for a specific application? Well, if I understand correctly, answer would be well, different all problems cannot be solved by same model. So there will be different models for different problem, but sometimes you can solve same problem with maybe 4 or 5 different kinds of algorithms. So yes, but it's all permutation combination. AI and machine learning by itself is a lot of permutation combination. Not everything will fit in correctly. With experience only, you will be able to understand which algorithm will go with what kind of which model or algorithm will go with what kind of problem solving. Many a times people have come to us saying that we have been working on this problem for 10 months, but we are stuck on this. We are not able to go ahead. When we check the code and the algorithm behind it, they didn't knew anything about the algorithm because they were from programming background. They didn't go through the data science part of it, and they didn't know what algorithm is working on the backend. They just copy pasted some code on internet, and they were thinking it will work. If they were able to achieve 60-70% accuracy, but then without knowing algorithm or how the backend is working, they were not able to solve. So algorithm knowing is definitely a must if you want to solve a complex problem. But again, their algorithm itself was wrong, or it was not known to them. So yes, different models, different algorithms are required for different problem solving. With experience that will come through. Difference between ML and DL from output perspective. Uh, from output perspective. Uh, okay. So let me give it a thought. I'll come back to this question. Uh, predictive analytics and root cause analytics for plant floor manufacturing machine. Ravi, you're asking me too many manufacturing questions. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on that kind of stuff, but uh, I have your email address. I'll try to reply to that. Too many manufacturing questions here. I'm not sure on that. For a plant floor manufacturing machine. So what are you asking? Predictive, are you saying that you want to use predictive analytics or you want to use root cause analysis? Which one you should take, or what is the question there? So mechanical guys can get in condition monitoring. Mechanical guys can, yeah, certainly. Mechanical guys, as far as I believe or I understand, mechanical guys can, yes, get in condition monitoring. You would be part of probably combination of IoT and AI. So AI will give you predictive analytics, and IoT will give you a lot of data to feed into that. Condition monitoring, yes, but that is going to be automated probably. So that won't remain for a long time, but yes, for some time, yes, you can get it in condition monitoring. Predicting failures, again, it is getting automated on AI. So I don't suggest. You can go into that, but it won't last for long. Learning technology will be more helpful, or going into ML and AI with technology tools will help more. I repeat, learning technology will be more helpful, or going into ML and AI with technology tools will help more. I suggest the second one. So going into ML and AI with technology tools will help more, but not technology tools per se. Tools keep on coming new and new every day. But if you know ML and AI, you can create those tools or create technology to help solve problems. So don't rely on tools, because tools are SaaS based also, and sometimes very costly or very cheap. But as I said, same problem can be solved with different algorithms. So try to learn data science or ML and AI part of it instead of learning just a tool. But also knowledge of, if you are a non-techie, uh, as you are asking me, learning technology or learning AI and ML. So it will help to have uh, coding skills. If not, even learning how to use ML and AI tools will help you at least get into that domain. My question was, yes, we work with companies. One question is there. If we take projects for development work to build the models for US or others. So yes, we are open to that. We have done some POCs for some companies, and yes, we take projects. We are open to that. So coming back to earlier question, difference between ML and DL from output perspective. Hmm, just give me a moment. So I give you an example of healthcare again. So machine learning will tell you, or our tool in Heliply was telling us what diseases are most probable a person would get. But DL will give us what is wrong inside the body that is creating that problem. So, for example, if you can have an heart attack, a person can have an heart attack, but what is the problem there? What is the probable cure oblique problem there inside heart? Whether valves are clogged, whether arteries are clogged, whether some part is not getting electrical signals in heart, that would be told by a DL. So, am I convincing enough, or do you want another example? Ramesh? Any other questions there? Okay, I'll try to give you another example. Mm, okay, so chatbots. I think that would be a decent enough example. So chatbots have been there where textual content was being fed to a system and it was giving some responses. But was it intelligent enough? So machine learning was taking input from you and giving you some output. But was it intelligent enough? Deep learning, deep learning would be going into highly contextual stuff. So NLP will be coming into play, which is a deep learning domain. Uh, and it can give you a voice response. It can give you voice response with modulation in speech. Uh, that will tell you the uh, what I should say intricacy of that solution, or uh, it can tell you exactly what is the problem that you're facing and answer to that with correct stress on probably. So chatbot was giving you just the textual whatever rule based things, whereas DL or NLP will give you more contextual, more relevant example. Is that better? So another example could be contracts management. So we were working, we are in talks with a company which says there are some companies already in globally where they are doing legal contract management. So legal contract vetting. So they were doing rule-based thing where chatbots were saying that, okay, here are the problems. You should rectify that. But it was not understanding the context. Now, when NLP was is deployed there, it goes into deep insight to that contract. It gives you why such a thing is not correct or there is a loophole there. So NLP, if deployed, can give highly automated and can reduce their time frame from maybe 8 to 10 months of vetting that contract to less than 2 to 3 months. So machine learning can be rule based or very superficial, but deep learning gives you very much intricate stuff. Why something is not working, whereas ML will give you this is not working, something like that. Any other questions? Okay, I'm a developer and also doing some BI within how to transform my career to ML or AI developer. Okay, so if you are already in BI space, it will be easier for you to pick up data science part of it, and if you know some coding, yeah, as well machine learning part of it. I suggest you go through the learning track I showed you earlier, the first one. It will give you this one. It will give you good understanding of what to study, not to study, and it can give you good grounding on uh, what all you can go through and learn your learning track. Thanks for the appreciation. Any other comments or question here? So next week we may be taking one probable topic is flavors of AI. So there are various kinds of AI. Like AI broadly is said AI, but as I have been using terms like NLP, so there's NLP, NLU, there's vision computing and things like that. So there are different flavors of AI. That may be one of the topics, or one of my colleagues will be taking it. So keep a watch on our meetup page where we'll be launching it, and this video would be available uh, by Monday max. Thank you for a good introduction to AI potential. Thanks. Appreciate that you like it. Thank you. I hope I was able to add value to you guys. So just so we are just on time. So I'll end it here, and I hope I have been able to give convincing answers here. Thank you. Thanks all. Have a good night.